So we say, welcome, folks. What a pleasant morning. And we are live from the grounds of the Capitol building in Monrovia, where, as you may be aware, the National Legislature will today resume the second quarter of legislative section. And it's going to be a combination of both the Senate and the House of Representatives. It follows the uh, the resumption follow the section of an act that was amended and is tied to fixing for the annual adjournment of the National Legislature. So at the moment, there are ongoing works here. You have the maintenance department that are getting a good faith life of this place. And you also have the official motorcade of the Speaker, Honorable Richard Nagwekun, is already packed. And from the angle of the Senate, I'm yet to see any vehicle parking in their space. So, but from what we are gathering is today they are going to be convening here for the second quarter of the second section of the National Legislature. So, to give us an insight of what exactly is expected to unfold here today, very briefly, we will walk you through and speak with the Director of Communication at the House of Representatives, Honorable Robert Haynes, who will give us a summary of what is expected to take place here today. But at the moment, this is the pictorial look of the grounds of the Capitol building. This is the Senate wing. And if you look on my far left, you see the wing of the House of Representatives. So follow me as we conduct this brief interview with the Director of Press at the House of Representatives, Honorable Robert Hens, who is already here, and he will be joining me very briefly. So, Director Hens, want to say good morning and welcome to LMTV.
Oh, thank you. A pleasure. Welcome to the legislature.
Okay. So today is the resumption of the second quarter by the National Legislature. You want to give us a summary of what exactly is expected to unfold here today?
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. So today marks the second quarter opening. Of course, yes, this is consistent with the Public Financial Management Law, the restated one. It was being amended. Before the legislature have been running on from January, second working Monday in January, open and then run strictly to August. Then they close. Before people used to call it agricultural break. When they close for August, they will return in January. But because of the amendment being done with the Public Financial Management Law now requires that we have 3 breaks. So because we have to have the budget come and be looked at. Before our budgetary period was July 1 to June 30 of the next year. That was a fiscal year budget. But now we run a calendar year budget equipping ourselves with ECOWAS country. So because of that, they did a fixing the time for closure had to be changed. And so now we operate from January to March, the third Friday in March, we close for the first quarter. That one we close for, and then returning in May, the second Friday in May, which is today, the 9th of May, makes out now to return for the second quarter of the second section. And this quarter is going to carry up to the second Friday in the month of July, where we're going to close for July. And then the third quarter will start in October, from October to December. And then we close now for the year. And that will be our annual break. And then we return in January. So, yes, we return today. It's not going to be a formal program like the way we do in January when we assuming and when we resuming, where you have a parade with the legislators, both the senators and the representative, marching from the main entrance of the executive mansion to the rotunda, and then both and the Senate go to their side, the House go to their side. But this that happened only in January. Today is not going to be a formal program. It's because it's a quarter, so we open once a year, and but then there are breaks along the way. So yes, this is the second quarter break that begin today. It's not going to be a formal program, but section will start on Monday. Effectively, Monday session will start here. The work of the people of Liberia will continue.
So, sir, it's not going to be formal. How is it going to be like? Are we going to see the senators just come and move into their wing and then see the House of Representatives or lawmakers from the House of Representatives go into their side?
Yes, obviously that's how it is here in the compound. The senators, though we were close, but we still have lawmakers coming to work because upon closure, there are people appointed to leadership committee, and they have to be able to do some work to keep the legislature afloat. So yes, you already saw some of the lawmakers coming in with their vehicle, particularly from the end of the house. You see the speaker already parked, very committed, reinvigorated to do the work of the people of Liberia. So yes, we'll have couple of the legislators coming and going to their offices. Of course, coming back to work. Uh, some of the lawmakers were in country, some of them were in their various districts, and they left their office staff was in the office, so they have to go to check out some other issues in their office and brush up. And then by Tuesday, first thing Monday, we're here for leadership, and then on Tuesday, session commence, and the work of the people of Liberia continue.
Unlike the first quarter, where you have a little bit of rigmarole, you want to tell us, even though there were ups and downs, but what are some of the key issues that the House actually uh, made of good decision, if you want to speak in that direction? What are some of the key things that were actually agreed upon by the House of Representatives
What you mean during the first quarter?
during the first quarter?
Yes, I know challenges are all over. I haven't been to heaven before, but I know probably there could also be challenge in heaven too. Our entire life we live, there will always be a challenge. And so, yes, I cannot say wholesomely here that there have not been challenges at the legislature. Yes, there will always be difference of views. And that's the reason why Liberians went to the polls and elected their representatives and their senators. They come here to be able to knock their chest on our behalf. And so, they're not going to be linked up people to just say that anything that come and they agree. People would disagree to agree. At the end of the day, Liberia matters. And so, yes, there have been challenges here, especially the issue with leadership and back forth like that. But we're fostering unity. We're looking at a point where the work of the people of Liberia can continue going unhindered. And so, yes, as you asked a question relative to the first quarter, there were successes made and also there were challenges. During the first quarter, we saw the Senate. First thing, the House of Representatives enacted the National Tourism Bill. That is detaching tourism bureau from the Ministry of Information to make it an independent body by itself, so it can be an autonomous agency. The Liberian Senate concurred with the House during the first quarter. That was a success for us. And so Representative Bernard Blue Benson of District Number 17, Masalado County, he introduced that bill and it got passed. It went over to the Senate and the Senate concurred. That's a success. Of course, yes, during the first quarter, we also saw the issue about these issue about concession agreements, and so there was a whole call being made that we have to be able to go back and look at the various concessions that have been passed and see where we are. So a specialized committee was being set up to do a nationwide revision of all concessions. That was a success, and along the way, there were some of the concessionaires being brought here up Capitol Hill. That committee has been chaired by Bon County District 7 Representative Honorable Foley Edward Famule. He's been working along with other members on the committee, and they've been doing some great job bringing B Mountain, bringing ArcelorMittal to know, because it's basically to see that they live up to the corporate social responsibility to the people. Ordinarily, the other day we heard about what took place in King George. During the first quarter, leadership set up a team to go and intervene. What was happening, there was consistent protests in King George, Grand Cape County. Even resorted to the loss of lives. So the House took a decision, and that committee was being set up. Today, as we speak, there are peace restored to the people in King George. There was also success during the first quarter. Also, during the first quarter, we saw the issue in keeping with our laws. The national development envelope of the country is the budget. And so the budget was being brought for, it was being scrutinized. And the budget got passed during the first quarter. The Senate concurred with the House of Representatives in the passage of the budget. Today, the budget is in effectuation. We are moving. The country is on an irreversible path, and we're moving. So there were successes during the first quarter. Equally so, there were also challenges during the first quarter. Now we're back for the second quarter. It is anticipated for us to foster unity to work on behalf of the people of Liberia.
One of the key challenges was the issue about the capital building being set on fire.
Yes, that was a setback for us as a nation, not just for legislators. It was a setback. It was unfortunate to have a very historic, iconic national building being gutted by fire. And the police started, great job the police did. They intervened, they came here, the Liberia National Fire Service people, and this building was being shut down. So lawmakers, including staffers, were being told not to play around because anything could fall down. If you were to go in the William Albert John Chima where the fire started, the entire place is damaged. Investigation started up. There are some people who already they were being called for investigation. Some have gone. They have adjudicated some of the cases. And so yes, during the period under review of the first quarter, but however, we look to see a unified legislature to work in the interest of the country, and this is where we are, and we're very hopeful that during this second quarter, the issue that has to do with the economy, the issue that has to do with peace and security in our country can be fostered, can be looked at in a way that the people's deputies can work for the people.
A certain point in time during the crisis, I was like following you consistently as director of communication at the House of Representatives. You know, you were actually able to manage the dissemination of information despite there were majority bloc and minority bloc, owing to the fact that you saw staffers here at the Capitol building. Well, the public, some way, somehow expected to see, you know, the staffer going at local here protesting, but it wasn't that way. Why?
Well, we're grateful to God. By the way, I am not the director of communication here in the legislature. The director of communication at the RCT people. I'm the director of press and public affairs. And so, yes, we are able to. We have a great team. There will be difference of views, like I said. The staff, for instance, we have two group of staff here at the legislature. We have personal staff and central administration staff. I'm part of the central administration staff. I don't work in a particular lawmaker office. So yes, the personal staff, bro, when there are difference of views in terms of if your boss is a local here with somebody, do you expect that the other? But we were just able to, by the grace of God, to manage situation, and it's not yet over in terms of people having different views about issues. But we will hope to see a unified legislature. Look, the interest of Liberia matters, and the work of the people of Liberia should always be done and going unhindered. And that's why you saw that even the building was gutted by fire. It still did not hinder the work of the Liberian people. We had to shift to the Monrovia City Hall, and we went at the Monrovia City Hall to make sure that we passed key legislations in the interest of the country. After Monrovia City Hall, we had to go to the executive pavilion. Look, the work of our people, the work of the Liberian people should go unhindered. Nothing should serve as a blockage to doing the work of the people, because it matters a lot. That's the reason why they elected their lawmakers to come up Capitol here to work in their interests. And so yes, along the way, we've been able to talk to people, we've been able to have an interaction. This country matters most in all that we do. In as much that people will have different views. The legislature is the legislature, the executive is the executive, the judiciary is the judiciary. And so yes, there will always be difference of views, but let's see Liberia as a bigger picture. And that's why we know Liberia is our one and only common denominator. And so if we have legislators working in the interest, and it's a whole, this legislature is the biggest theater of politics in our country. So people will always disagree to agree, and at the end of the day, Liberia suffices. Liberia matters.
Talking about the buses that we saw here during the crisis, where are we when it comes to, are they on the road taking staff or someone or what?
Well, yes, this is part of some of the reforms initiated currently taking place here under the stewardship of the Honorable Richard Nampakun, Speaker of the 55th Legislature. We have it has been a long time. Our staff have suffered to get their way to and fro going home from work. Of course, yes, every time to pay their way is nothing easy. So yes, two buses acquired, and if taking our staffers home when they sign off from work, they get on the line, get on the buses, they go home. Once for now, two buses. Conversation being made for the acquisition for another one, another two to make it four. And so, yes, these are some of the reforms initiated. If you were to go to the chamber, what we're using now as a chamber is a conference room built for us by the People's Republic of China. So we use it temporarily as a chamber. If we were to go there, we have a whole setup there in terms of the iron gate built up. We protect our homes. All of us now live in protected custody. We protect our homes with iron gates. So we're more about state property. And that's why the speaker said we have to be able to protect state property. You saw what happened here with the burning of the William Albert John Chamber. So we cannot at all times to see state property get damaged. And at the end of the day, we'll be talking about investigations, stuff like that. So we'll be able to take precaution. So we have a whole big setup down at the iron gate to the chamber, protecting state property. You enter in the chamber as we speak, you will see some difference in terms of reforms initiative being done there. We in the past we had microphone shifted from one person to another person. I mean, it was unhygienic anyway. But we now have microphone mounted on the decks, yeah, of the lawmakers, so they're able to speak freely to represent your people. More of those things are happening, and we're grateful. Also, too, when we had an outbreak and we had this fire incident, the arson attack, if we have had CCTV cameras around, the investigation would not have taken a long time. As we speak, right now we have CCTV camera. Thanks to the leadership of the house, we have CCTV camera mounted. If you enter this place and you misbehave, you will be caught. We did not do those things before. We're doing them now. And we're grateful that these are reforms initiated. A very workaholic young man who now chairs the Rules, Order and Administration Committee, Mr. James Colette, Representative Colette, is doing very well. He's a youthful person. He moves all over. He interacts with the staff, the maintenance department, all other departments. He interacts with the people, and he getting the work to be done. As you're seeing right now, you see the people are weeding the grass. You don't have to you be using chapia all over the place so that you get place all in your hand. So they're using the machine to weed the grass and to keep the place very unique. And so these are reforms initiated. We are not there yet, but they are going to be happening small, and we're grateful for that.
I talk about the hygienic environment of the capital. We used to hear people calling way back. It's still happening where you come to the Capitol building, you want to use the latrine, and then there's no water and what have you.
No, this happened during the 54th legislature under the stewardship of the former speaker, the Right Honorable Buffer Chambers. At the close of his administration, there were two boreholes being dug here on the compound. So the issue of water is is pushed under the water right now. So if you were to go to any of the bathroom, you just by the click of the stuff, you just punch it and water's just flowing all over the place. So we don't have that challenge anymore where the issue of bathroom have been problem. So that is moving on very well, and the area is actually you get the fresh air blowing you here now. So some great things are happening here.
So in 1 minute, you want to sum up what exactly will unfold here today, since in fact it's not going to be the formal opening as you expect in January, where you have the Senate and the House coming together and we parade from in front of the executive mansion and move in here.
Well, today is just informal. The opening today is informal. It's not going to be a formal program. So lawmakers are going to come. Some of the people are still wrapping up from their districts to make their way to Monrovia. But session starts on Tuesday. So today is not going to be a formal program for lawmakers to march, like I said. But they're going to, some of them come, media people in their offices, interact with some people and stuff like that. And then by Monday will be leadership. At 12 o'clock Monday will be leadership meeting. And then on Tuesday will be session. Wednesday will be committee meeting. On Thursday will be session. Friday will be constituency day. So that's how you're going to unfold all the way up to the second Friday in July. The second Friday in July, we're going to close. And when we close in July, we're going to resume in October. and we'll close. We're resuming October, and October in October now will be the third quarter. It's going to carry on up to December. And then when we close, obviously it will be the next year now. So you see lawmakers are coming, some are leaving, something. So that's how it is. There's no formal program today as we commence the second quarter of the second section of the 55th legislature.
Thank you very
Just
much.
before I go, let me use this time to commend all of our media institutions, especially so those are covering the House of Representatives. You're doing a very great job. We look to see cordiality between the members of the press and that of the lawmakers so that we have a very cordial working relationship. You do your story from an independent standpoint. Nobody going to tell you how to report, what to report. But however, there are also rules governing this place here to go on. If going forward, people should have to be identified to make their way in the chamber. And so we'll ask you as an sound legislative reporter to be able to live with it. Excuse me, brother, we're doing interview here, please. We're doing interview here, please. So and that's how it is. So we hope that the media institutions will be able to live in that. But we have an open press, a free press, so that independent media institutions can report exactly what they see to the people of Liberia, because our people are that want to know what is unfolding at the legislature and not to tell them what to report. So we're very open. And the Department of Press and Public Affairs that I had, I have a very cordial working relationship with the media institution. I'm a very young person. Most of our colleagues are young people. We interact the best way possible, but we have to go by the rules. And so we're committed to doing that.
How true is it that some of the folks or media institutions that covered this place before were actually denied access to the Capitol building?
We don't deny people access. We have strict rules. So we do our accreditation process on an annual basis. We don't give accreditation to blocker. We give accreditation to media institution. For instance, you come from LNTV or ELBC. It is an institution. And so we get a accreditation. We don't look at people's faces, whether they're beautiful or they're handsome. We don't do like that. What we do is, okay, you feel within our criteria, LNTV or ELBC as a state-owned media institution have accredited reporter, we get an accreditation for that. But it is not, because right now, I said this, there are things evolving. Technology advances every time. One person who get a smartphone thinks he get an online TV. The next thing, they say they want accreditation to cover the House of Representatives, to cover the Senate. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. The first thing, you have to be an institution, a media institution, and more so
A registered
media institution. You know, it's not because you're doing maybe talk show or you're doing podcast, and then you say you want to provide coverage. No, it doesn't work that way. So we do it on an annual basis. So we don't give the accreditation to somebody, or we don't do no favoritism. I don't know most of these people. It's just by their institution. For instance, Front Page Africa will write address a communication to my office recommending a particular reporter to provide coverage for Front Page Africa. That reporter comes in, we take that reporter, because first thing, it is an institution that has been existing long time before Front Page Africa. You got Daily Observer, you have the rest of the other papers, radio stations, and stuff like that. So we do all of that, and then we're able to tell them. Now, online TV, we've said consistently that since we don't want to have, and now I to say, the whole play will get filled up when we have all the online TV given accreditation, because daybreak tomorrow, somebody will buy one smartphone, yeah, maybe somebody techno phone, and the next thing they put it, Rawahin TV. And, you know, and when we do like that, then we get in trouble. Then, because the first thing, you must be a professional journalist. We even say that during the accreditation process. We say that the independent media institution, you somebody you recommending, somebody you're sending for sending to be assigned should cover national event at least 5 years, because this is the first branch of government. Before becoming a journalist, first you are a citizen of Liberia. All right. So all of these things to look at it is not that we tell you who to come, who not to come, and that's the reason why all along we've been here. I've been here since 2021. I have not told anybody. I have not told you what to write. I have not tell you say don't go this side, don't go that side. All I do is to be able to regulate how it works, to open up, give you free flow access to some of the lawmakers you want to interview with. That's my work to do, to make sure that we have a very cordial working relationship. It's an open press. It's a free press. And people have to be responsible for what they write and what they report. And that's how we've been able to do like that. But we have a very cordial working relationship with the media institutions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We're grateful. We look up to see you, media practitioners, performing your role as you always do. Again, too, we see the lawmakers will be able to interact with you as a represent your people.
Well, folks, he's the Director of Press at the House of Representatives, Honorable Rawa Hens. Well, we've been bringing you a brief interview as it relates to the opening of the second quarter of the National Legislature today. Yeah, so let's see if we can talk to one or two lawmakers. As uh, I see Representative Marcus Thomas of District Number 4, Maserati County. He's the chair on. He's the,
Foreign Affairs is Representative Deco Gay. He comes from our district number 3, Lima County. So yeah, I'm sure you will have some interaction with them. They really invigorated to do the work of the people. Uh, Everybody French. You see the lawmakers. Yeah, so you could just chit chat with them a little bit and tell them, ask them how prepared they are to do the work of the people. Yeah.
yeah, so folks, Honorable Nekege and Honorable Marcus Thomas of Maserati County District 4. So this is LMTV, and we are live here at the grounds of the Capitol building. I want to say, Honorable Thomas, welcome to LMTV, sir.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure being on the state radio.
You look a bit relaxed as compared to the first quarter.
So I've always been relaxed because we feel to a larger extent there is peace, there is stability, and there is civility at the legislature. Because all of what you saw that has happened here at the legislature are just what we basically call legislative politics. So it's nothing personal, it's nothing legal, you know. These are things that happen across the world, in legislature across the world. So we, as members of the legislature, I always say to people when husband and wife have issues, you will have the pastors, you will have imams, you will have family members, you have other people coming to intervene. But if the husband and wife does not sit in their home or in their bed, in their matrimonial bed, and say we are ready to resolve it, it cannot be resolved. So we as members, we have decided, we have put all of the cards on the table, and we are having basic conversation in the interest of Liberia, not our personal interest, that the people's work has to be done. And as we will be resuming on Monday, you will see for the record majority members of the legislature, including both minority and majority, will be in the pew marching for the forward march of Liberia. To a larger extent, this matter is at the brink of being resolved because we all consider the interest of Liberia first.
One of the major setbacks that took place here at the grounds of the Capitol building is the issue of the rotunda being set ablaze.
This is unprecedented. We have had crisis in the legislature for ages. I have been here for over 16 years. You saw the impasse with Speaker Tyler. You saw the impasse with Speaker Snow, you know, and other situations that occur at the legislature. In no way, you know, that we witness, you know, this kind of the gravity of what we saw with the burning of the joint chamber. This is a very historic building, a monumental building. It stands tall in the history of Liberia. For that historic chamber to be burned, you know, it's a serious, serious issue in this country. And I think the corporates, you know, should not go unpunished because this is unprecedented. You know, we need to set some precedent, some punitive measures so that in the future, nobody will even dream about even lighting a matchstick or something here. We follow the police report. The investigation is ongoing. We can't speak into the substantive nature of what is ongoing because there are proceedings and investigation ongoing. So, but you all follow for the record the first report that came out from the police. You know that clearly said that it was an arson. So it tells you that it wasn't a natural fire disaster. It was a man-made disaster. So it was orchestrated by some individuals, some scrupulous individuals. And I think to a larger extent, those who have their hands into what transpired should not go unpunished. Justice should be served at equals because there are remedies under our law.
How do you convince the public? Because you lawmakers, when you are here up Capitol Hill, carrying on what we call political fleshing of muscles, the public also there sees it different. They think that, well, you guys are not in the interest of the people and you are only here for your own benefit.
So, legislative politics, there will always be disagreement because we come from different political persuasion, different political background, different aspiration, different religious background. So there will always be disenchantment, there will always be dissatisfaction, there will always be this confrontation with lawmakers because we come from different political backgrounds. So we will disagree on ideology, we will disagree on issues, we will disagree on policies, we will disagree on a lot of things. So you will always have this upheaval. But mind you, the bottom line, the common denominator of everything we do is the interest of the people of Liberia that we represent.
So you are representing a district.
Right.
But then when there are issues of Capitol Hill, you see the same people from your district will be saying, well, we are not in the know of what is going on. They are only doing their own thing. Do you sometimes as lawmaker consult the district before coming up with certain
So
decisions?
if you follow my mantra in my district, one basic a policy or plan that we have in our district is the issue of equal participation in decision making. So we have had several town hall meetings. We engage through all other, form of information, either through social media, either through traditional radio, either through town hall meetings, either through visiting Atai centers and intellectual forums. So there are issues that are debatable and we go and have conversation with our people because the voices of the people we represent matters even more than us because we are just the people's deputy. What we say here, what we do represent the aspiration and the interest of our people. So everything that you see Margaret Thomas has done at the legislature, it consummate critically what our peoples want because we believe in the development of our district. We believe in the livelihood of our district. We believe in enhancing all of the sector of our district, education, health, basic social services, all of those. Those are our paramount concern. So if any action of anybody, whether speaker, deputy speaker, we disenfranchise our people, we delineate, the interest of our people, it means that we got to take a different trajectory. So on that basis, we got to stand tall and kick against whatever thing that is happening. You saw the issue with the speaker removal. There were basic issues that were being maligned in that resolution. And I can tell you for sure, if you read all of the counts, it will tell you that most of the counts that were in that resolution are counterproductive to the interest of our people. So we got to stand tall. That was the position that we took in the interest of our people.
So finally, before we leave you, your district is the most populated district in Liberia. How do you see the level of development in a very populated district you come from?
So there is an adage that say chicken doesn't say that it's sweet. But I can tell you if you turn on the radio in District 4, you will hear all of our impacts in the district. You follow our annual report in the district. It was a huge presentation where we made a presentation to our people outlining our achievement and deliverables over time. And also in our report we stated our challenges, because there is no prospects without challenges. So we intimated all of the challenges we have had in the district as it relates to implementing those projects. Of course, the issue with health, we ran the mobile clinic services in the district. We have impacted most of the health sector of the district, especially the public health facilities where we provided budgetary support to our most recognized public, hospital in the district, the Tupo Road Clinic. We have also done donation through support from foreign, partners to almost all of the clinics, private clinics in the district. Of course, under education, Michael Thomas is running the biggest and the most populated vocational school in the district called the Thomas's Foundation Technical Vocational Institution. We have graduated over 30, 35 to 40,000 students over time after running about 8 cohorts. And also the issue with academic, support to the district, we have already established of free academic education in the district where we run the Thomas's Foundation Educational, Institute from nursery straight to 12th grade and runs free of charge. It's just registration around $4,000-5,000 annually per school year. And also we have provided support to all of the public schools in the district. We have 5 public schools in the district. There is a budgetary support that we solicited and to help, pay volunteer teachers to do renovation of some of the schools. And of course, the biggest one that we did is the Painesville Community College. So that bill was being passed by the lower house and is now before the Committee on Education at the Senate. So we're hoping that as we will be resuming on Monday, first on our plate is the follow up on that bill to ensure that during this sitting we can have that bill passed to officially have the Painesville Community College officially established and functional in the district to enhance the educational capacity of the young people in the district.
Thank you very much, Honorable Thomas.
Thank you for having me.
Well, he's Maserati County District 4 Representative, Honorable Marcus Thomas. He's been in conversation with LNTV. So let's see if we can engage the view of Honorable Nekeki, who will talk to us very briefly. So, Honorable Gay, want to say welcome to LNTV, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for uh, the the invitation this morning.
I think this is a much better atmosphere at the Capitol building as compared to the first quarter.
Yes, I think we have spoken to ourselves. The Liberian people are looking at us to make decisions in the best interest of the country. You know, those of us that were elected by our people were elected with a special mandate, and our people's mandate should also be executed in line with the constitutional mandate. So we have decided that the rigmarole and the impasse in the legislature should be, come to a halt, and so that the Liberian people's work can be done. Because it's an issue of confidence. People are not really putting trust in the legislature anymore, based on the conflict. The country is divided. People are taking side with the minority, other people taking side with the majority. And so this is the best time that I think we as lawmakers can come together to put our broken pieces together, and then local Liberia as a common denominator, and to see the national interest as the most prioritized, issue that we all can look at, so that Liberia can be on the right trajectory.
Do you regret ever finding yourself on either side, be it the minority or the majority bloc at the House of Representatives?
No, 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 no. God has time for everything, and God is God who actually put me on the other side. I am to be on the majority side. I think we have been, following the laws, everything that we have done, from the impact up to present, everything is in line with the Constitution and in line with the rule of procedure of the House of Representatives. So everything that we have done is in the best interest of the government, the best interest of the Liberian people. So I don't regret seeing myself on the majority side. There's politics in a political terrain or political situation. Neutrality is the most dangerous, approach. So it's better to take a side. So our side we took is the majority side, and we have been fighting in the best interest of the Liberian people. So I don't think the side I took I can regret anything.
Liberia as a country fought war for nearly 14 years. And this building, the National Legislature, uh, despite the war, we came back and we saw the building intact. But your situation, talking about members of the House of Representatives, because of the crisis, we saw the building was being set ablaze.
Sometimes we have to develop the spirit of nationalism and patriotic consciousness as Liberian people. The first thing is that nobody is higher than Liberia, and nobody is higher than the Constitution. And so when there is a conflict or when there is a misunderstanding between two legislative bodies, I think the best thing is to intellectualize the issue and come to a table of dialogue to negotiate in the best interest of uh, why we were elected and why what is required of us as lawmakers in executing our duties and responsibility in line with the Constitution of Liberia. So for we don't want to allow the court or the police to do an investigation, but I think the issue of uh, the burning of the Capitol building, I think the police is doing an investigation, and after the investigation, people who will be found culpable of the act will be forwarded to uh, the court for prosecution. So we don't want to preempt, but at the end of the day, we are aware that a decision from the court will be in the best interest, and those who will be for culpable of the act will be prosecuted under the law. So I think we regret the situation because this structure, was actually pulled by former president of Liberia, and they have fought in the best way, to give a Liberia a facelift. When the people, our former leaders, sat and decided to take this place to select it as a capital building, I don't think the decision was in error. They did it in the best interest of the country, and so that the future generation will be able to at least, get a space to sit and make decisions in the best interest of the country. But for a group of people to just sit and then maybe orchestrated, a devilish plan or malicious plan, to bring the rotunda down, we feel that is regrettable. And as a nationalist and a patriotic, citizen, we condemn the act, but we are looking at the police after the investigation. We believe that the outcome of the investigation will be forwarded to the court and for the court to prosecute those who will be found culpable of the act.
Were your people, talking about your district, actually in support of, uh, were they actually in support of your decision to have aligned with the majority bloc?
I think my people elected me, and there were a series of, standards that is set before my elections. And anybody who is elected as a representative, and not just because of the popularity, and not just because of the money you spend, but the people look at a lot of things, decision making, how responsible you are, how intelligent and intellectually you are. And these are a series of conditions. They look at even the cultural orientation, they look at the traditional connection, your family link. So I believe that the confidence repose in me to have been elected is also a decision. So decision that we took, we were able to consult our people, and I think the decision is in the best interest of the people, and because we actually want, to actually see good governance then prevail, and we want a leader that will be more democratic, that will execute the democratic tenets so that everybody can be inclusive of the decision making. So I believe that the decision that we took to actually align ourselves with the majority bloc, was in the best interest of our people, and they are looking at us, at the finality, so that they can be able to at least join us, so that all can celebrate that this country, need to move forward, and this country need to be on the right trajectory, so that we can be able to, execute and demonstrate, good leadership that we were elected for.
Even though the first quarter was a bit of dilemma, were you able to proffer any instrument talking about the plight of the people in the district during the first quarter?
The first quarter, as you rightly said, we open in January. The second working Monday in January, we will open the second session of the 55th legislature. That was our first sitting, and so we've been working in the best interest of our country, and internationally we've been representing Liberia. I think, as you may all know, in January, the Speaker of the House led a delegation that attended the inauguration of John Mahama as the President of Ghana, and after that, we also took a visit to Morocco. The presentation was on the Association of Speakers, Africans to attend the Atlantic African State process. Key decisions were made in relation to how we can utilize our marine species, how we can convert the Atlantic Ocean into opportunities that will be able to benefit our economy and drive developmental agenda. And we made a second trip also as chairperson of Committee on Foreign Affairs of Africa and Security, and Defense Committees, and we were able to represent Liberia in Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco. And after that, we also were invited by the Nigeria Parliament, where we represented Liberia, at the Parliament of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we were able to discuss key issues, highlighting, cooperation, collaboration, and developing a strong and lasting partnership among the legislative bodies of West Africa. And we also went to Cote d'Ivoire, where we met with the President of the National Assembly of Cote d'Ivoire, and we discussed similar issues relating to enhancing strong partnership and cooperation among the Monroe member states. So, with respect to my involvement with my district, yes, we were able to profit some communications on flow. Actually, in my district, there's a road construction that started in 2019 by the former government, President William administration, for second part of Dogoatu, and the project had come to a standstill, and so we were able to write the Polyweb Ministry so that they can actually inform us on why the project has been halted more than 1 year. So, and secondly, we also wrote the Ministry of Health, wrote the speaker to actually inquire from the Ministry of Health on why, most of our, people that are working in the facility, in the health facility of our district, are still on volunteer, and they are not being captured on the Liberian payroll. And these are some of the key issues that we raise, on behalf of our people during the first quarter. So I think our people business matters a lot to us, and we are going to make sure to project, their interests, because that's what we were sent here for, to able to represent them and articulate their views and aspirations in the best interest of the district.
Finally, before we leave you, what's your message out there to your colleagues, fellow lawmakers?
What I want to say is that Liberia is bigger than anybody who is a citizen of Liberia, and this country remains supreme, above our interests, our individual interests. We cannot supersede the interest of Liberia. So I'm extending an amicable uh, uh, invitation to our friends so that they all can come to join us as we all, assemble here on Monday, and Tuesday will be the first, session, of the second sitting. So we are actually calling all of them so that they can come, for the first sitting of the second session of the legislature so that we can be able to do the library work. And whatsoever that happen, let us see as a history, and let's see Liberia as a priority. Let us see Liberia, as the pillow of our country, of our agenda, so that we can be able to work harder. Because this country has a lot behind development. If you go to other countries that even gain an independence in the 60s, they are far ahead of Liberia that it gained its independence in 1847. So we are asking all of them to put aside our differences and come back here so that we all can be able to recalibrate and re-strengthen ourselves and renew our spirit, so that we can be able to fight for Liberia and to be able to put Liberia interests as a key priority in our national, agenda for growth and development in Liberia.
Honorable Nekege, say thank you for speaking to LNT.
Yeah, thank you very much for the interview. Thank you.
Well, folks, he's Nima County Representative Honorable Nekege. Earlier on, you listened to Maserati County District 4 Representative Michael Thomas, who spoke to us briefly. Well, from the grounds of the Capitol building, like we were told, it's not going to be a formal ceremony where you have members from the Senate and members from the House of Representatives, but rather it's just going to be like the usual welcoming ceremony where lawmakers will have to speak to colleagues. We'll go in their various offices to see some of the documents that was actually proffered during the first quarter. If any amendment that they can make, they're going to review some of the documents. So, folks, as we speak, this is exactly what is happening here at the grounds of the Capitol building. The Senate wing, we are yet to see the arrival of the Senate Pro Tem and vehicles of some senators. The place is partially empty, but from the angle of the House of Representatives, at least you can see 2 or 3 lawmakers who have already arrived here. So we want to bring this broadcast to an end as soon as we can receive any hint of the brief ceremony that is expected to take place after this broadcast. We will be coming to you. My name is Ayesimi by my colleague Damoa Fufana has been behind camera. I want to say thanks for watching LNTV. Do have yourself a pleasant good morning from the grounds of the Capitol building in Monrovia.